Okay, Masters, that was really great. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed every minute of this guided meditation. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to take you on this journey of guided meditation. So with that, we can continue with our topic of wisdom sharing that we started yesterday. So my dear Masters, I hope you remember the topic that we started yesterday. So this was about our journey from ego to bliss. Or the topic that we started yesterday was basically about how do we dissolve our mind to reach the state of bliss? Or how do we dissolve our ego, which is generated by this mind, so that we can knock at the door of this bliss? That's the topic that we started yesterday. And today we are continuing. People who will be watching this on my YouTube, I have broken yesterday's session down into 2 parts because it was going for long. So we already have episode 1 and 2 that I released yesterday, and today's session, depending on the duration, could be 3 and 4. Having said that, so how to dissolve our mind to reach bliss? As I said yesterday, that both the ego and the bliss, they are residing at the same place. So it's not a long journey that we have to start from ego, which is mind base, to another point, which is bliss, which is mindless state. One involves mind and the other does not. So what I mentioned is they both are existing or coexisting around the third chakra. And we also mentioned, we did share about the chakra, the picture that I shared yesterday for newcomers to know what chakras we are talking about. So we talked about 3 chakras. The root chakra, the Muladhara chakra was the first chakra. And I did mention the 3 chakras from the bottom, the Muladhara chakra, the Swadhisthana chakra, the Manipuraka chakra, all these 3 chakras are related to our mind and body. So any feelings that we get with our body and mind, they develop a psyche around this or waves around these 3 chakras. So the discussion yesterday we started was totally around these 3 chakras, the 3 lower chakras. And we did mention, I'm just recapping quickly, the first chakra, the Muladhara chakra, is to do with bodily pleasures and pains, but still to do with mind. We did talk about it. The second one is to do with emotions. And the third one we've mentioned about the ego, the third chakra, the psyche around the third chakra. I'm particularly mentioning around. There is no problem with the chakras. Chakras are always pure the way they should be. But it is the murk around the chakras. Like I gave the example of this beautiful lotus flower, which is surrounded by muddy water. But still this beautiful lotus flower comes out of it. Similarly, chakras are there. But if you have to access your chakra, or if you have to make sure that these chakras are completely open and aligned, alignment is important. The 3 chakras we are talking about, they should be aligned. It will only happen when the psyche around it, or when the environment around it, which is created by our mind, is cleared. That was the whole discussion we were talking yesterday. So the ego around the third chakra, this is connected to our psychological identity. What is the psychological identity? The whole ego is about I, me, the story about me, the big story that each one of us had built around us. Me, Saroja, born in India, came to Australia, have been working as a corporate so-and-so identity. I have this, I have that. So when that word Saroja comes, I have got a psychological identity. Each one of us has built that identity, not only about us, but we have our own world view as well. So we have built two stories, one story about ourselves and the other story about our connection with this world. So our view of this world. That's what ego is all about. Your ego will be different to mine because your worldview will be different to mine. See how ego changes from person to person? The world is same. Nothing has changed. You and I are living in the same world. But my ego will give me a psychological identity and my own worldview about how I relate to this world. Not only that, it also builds my self-esteem. Sometimes my self-esteem is so pumped up that little things I cannot take from outside, which hurts my self-esteem. Not only that, each one of us has got our own story about our personal power. I'm powerful. I'm a politician. I'm so and so. It is not about the physical fact. It is about the identity that we are building. And that's because of this ego. And this ego, all these things that I'm talking about are generating waves and waves and waves and ripples around these third chakras. So this is the place where we build the illusion. Illusion of what? Illusion of our life and how we want to run this life. Everyone has got a story. Every one of us, there is no exception, my dear masters. Every one of this platform, you have to understand, each of us have got a story. Your story and my story may be different, but we do have a story because of this ego. So this is the illusion that we have built up because of this ego. Little bit ego is required, little bit of pride is required. Why? Because for survival, protect ourselves. Otherwise, the species won't be protected. But it's not little. It's not how much we require. We have blown it out of proportion, and that's from where we are having this suffering. So where is the suffering coming from? The suffering is coming from this disproportionate growth of ego around the third chakra. And also, why there is connection. If we go much more deeper, we all know we are bound by karma or the karmic pattern. What is the karmic pattern? Whenever we take birth and come in one incarnation, people who have attended my karma workshop will clearly understand what I'm saying. But for those, if this is quite new, I will try to explain as much as I can. But because this is not karma workshop, if there is any confusion, please go to my YouTube channel, Saroja Self-Empowerment Workshop. And there are two workshops there. One workshop on karma and the other one, Karma Yoga Part 1. If you watch those both, you will know everything that you need to know about karma. So for this particular discussion's sake, when we come to this incarnation with our prarabdha karma, we are coming with karmic patterns. And where does this karmic pattern reside? Around the third chakra. So this ego and karmic patterns are all nicely woven. We all know that we have a choice to create more suffering by strengthening our ego, or we can surrender. People who have again attended my awareness workshop series, which has got 5 sessions, 2 workshop sessions out of the 5, we talked about surrender. Many people think people only surrender who are weak. People surrender when they have no goal. People surrender when they are broken. Those people do not understand the power of surrender. Surrendering is not easy, my dear masters. But those people who understand what is surrendering, again, I can talk about surrender for hours, but this topic won't let me go into surrender. But for those who want to understand surrender, just take the meaning of this word as it is for this discussion, and understand that you have a choice. You can keep pumping up your ego or let your ego aside. The moment you let your ego aside and surrender, you have already reached the door of the bliss. The next thing is you just have to knock and go in. That's all. You're already at the door. So once you put your ego aside, that means you have cleared that part of the mind. The moment this murk around this chakra, the mind psyche around this chakra is cleared, instantaneous change. You can see the bliss that is there existing. So they are coexisting, they are both there. Now it's your choice. You want to live from the space of ego or from the space of bliss. They're all side by side. If this vanishes, you can see this. If this vanishes, you are here. When you surrender to this bliss, then as I said, you start receiving guidance directly from your higher self. It is a direct way of connecting to your higher self. You do not have to go into loops to connect your higher self. Set aside your ego, and that is an easier way to have direct connections. So I mentioned about these karmic patterns which are woven into the ego around the 3rd chakra. As I mentioned, when I talk about the 3rd chakra, I'm not just saying 3rd chakra. 3rd chakra is the culmination of all the 3 chakras. It is the pinnacle. It slowly starts building up from chakra 1, chakra 2, and chakra 3. And by the time your mind psyche comes up to chakra, 3rd chakra, it is at its peak. So whatever is happening around the 3rd chakra is a combination of what's happening in the other 2 chakras as well. But what happens in the first 2 chakras, you don't feel from there. Though things are happening in your 1st chakra and 2nd chakra around it, you won't feel. All that will build up into 3rd chakra, and that is where directly you can communicate with your 3rd chakra. You don't have to really think about communication. It will start automatically. That's what I'm going to mention. So this is 3rd chakra is the place where we struggle the most. Whatever problems we have in all the 3 chakras, you can only feel that from the 3rd chakra. So it is very important to keep this psyche around these chakras clear, free of grief. Now, how do we do that? We are going to go into details. So in terms of ego, I already mentioned the ego as it at its peak, you can see functioning around the 3rd chakra. So how do you see that in our day-to-day life? Many people you see workaholics. Why? Because that's building up their ego. Their identity lies in that work. So the more they put in the work, they see their identity building up. I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just giving examples. Indulgence in physical substance like alcohol and drugs, that can make this 3rd chakra very murky, more murkier than mind alone operating. So if you want this 3rd chakra to be more clouded, you can have intoxicating substances that will totally lose your connection. And you can get more and more entangled into this into the psyche of this third chakra. So this third chakra can take you from one extreme to another extreme. Either you can be surrounded by negative energy, negative thinking, by, you know, all these examples that I've given, or you can clear all your mind related issues around this third chakra and start connecting with higher self. Everything is our choice, my dear masters. Now, many times we have, when we give examples, you know, there's so much imbalance that happens around this third chakra. And when we start giving example, one of the example that comes to everyone is Hitler during the Second World War. And, you know, we have seen all the pain that's come across. But people like Hitler, or people, you know, what's happening within them? What's the kind of imbalance that's going on in this third chakra? What happens is they reach a point where their ego becomes so bigger and bigger that they lose their connection totally with their higher self. They are so unaware, they are not even aware of their ego. And what did I say about ego? Ego has got 3 characteristics, and the second one was unconscious nature. So when your unconscious nature becomes so much that you don't even realize that you are caught in the grips of ego, what will happen is that mental psyche around the third chakra becomes so thick, so dense, and so murky that you lose your connection with your higher self altogether. Till then, at least there are some intuitions coming to you that, you know, maybe you should do this, maybe you should that. Many times when we are sitting, our intuition tells us this is wrong, that is right, this is wrong, that's right, kind of a thing. But when you start believing in this ego that is around your third chakra, the more intense it is, then the third chakra slowly begins to close, or the connection is closing with your higher self. And the more a person becomes unaware, the more the communication is totally cut. And we have seen this in the example of, in the untold story of Sita, we did talk about Ravana. Ravana had the same problem. Ravana, he was on the spiritual path. Many people ask this. He used to do a lot of penance, tapasya. That's how he got all his powers from. But then how did his third chakra totally close? This is where we need to understand, masters. When Ravana did a lot of tapasya and penance, he got whatever he wanted. And the main objective behind whatever he was attaining, siddhis or powers, was not for Loka Kalyana, was not for the benefit of humanity. It was for his own selfish motives. And what is selfishness? Selfishness is a characteristic of ego. Ravana's ego was bigger than anyone's ego. And just now I mentioned, the more you are caught up in this ego game, the more unaware you are. And when your unawareness goes to a point, after that, you lose your connection totally with your higher self, and you stop getting any messages. So you do not even know where you are trapped. And that's why in the untold story of Sita, Sita Ma took upon her that she had to go knock at Ravana's heart chakra. From there, she wanted to knock so that she can ignite the fire of love. Because he had closed his third chakra, there was no way people could communicate from third chakra. But the top chakras are always open. From the fourth chakra onwards, it's always open. There is really nothing to do. The reason we cannot connect with the fourth and upper chakras are because of this lower 3 chakras game that goes on with our mind. The moment these 3 chakras open up, the connection to your upper 3 chakras is attained in no time. So the work has to be done on the lower 3 chakras, not on the chakras above Anahata chakra. In the human incarnation, the majority of the drama that happens is the mind drama. And as I mentioned, the mind drama only impacts the lower 3 chakras, my dear masters. Again and again, I'm mentioning this. from Anahata Chakra. It's not a mind game at all. So what happens when Sita Ma cannot send any messages in the third chakra? Why? Because Ravana's ego has become so big that the psyche or the mental waves around the third chakra was so dense that the communication totally closed in his third chakra. So Sita Ma takes upon herself to come and knock at his Anahata Chakra to wake up his love, because there is no way she could connect other way. Why I'm giving you this example is because most of you or many of you have watched the untold story of Sita wisdom sharing that I did for 16 episodes. So time and again, I like to do this example so that it makes sense to what we are talking about. So by embracing the ego gently and letting it go instead of fighting with it is the easiest way of putting aside our ego. We have talked in our ego session so many times. Important thing to remember is you are not your ego. You are not your ego. When will you know that you are not your ego? When you understand that the thinker is separate and the observer is separate. Till then you think you are the same. You think you are the thinker. No, that is the ego. Ego should never become center of who you are. Yeah. Otherwise, what will happen? It will take over you completely, like Ravana's ego took over him completely, as if he was possessed by ego. What will happen if you're totally possessed by ego? It's like tumor taking over the body as a cancer, isn't it? What happens in cancer? The tumor starts like a small bump, like a small cyst first. And tumors are not in harmony with the body. That's why they have to be cut and thrown away. Anything that does not go in line with the whole means the whole creation has got a purpose. And if someone has come up with this fantastic idea that I am separate, I have now got nothing to do with this universe, you are like a tumor. So what do we do with the tumor? You cut away the tumor. So anything in this creation which is not harmonious to this purpose of creation, which is not in harmony with the vibrations of the bigger good, will be treated as tumor. Very important. If I say tumor, you will understand because it's in terms of body. In the body, when there is a small tumor comes up, it's not cancer yet, it's a tumor, it's a cyst. So what the doctor says, this is a tumor. That means it's not part of your body functioning. It will not help you. So cut and throw it away. If you don't cut and throw it away, what will happen? That will start becoming big and it will invade your body. And you know what those big tumors, what they say? They want to grow big. And they are so different from the body. They are totally indifferent. They never want to be harmonious with our body functioning. So the more the tumor is growing, it is interfering with the body functioning. So there is a war within. The body's antibodies are trying to fight against this tumor to kill it, to push it out, because it is not in harmony with the body. That is what happens in this creation. Anything that is not in harmony with this creation will be fought with the universe and thrown away. So all these examples are for us to understand. So this war that is happening between this bliss and ego, it's a silent war. It goes on life after life, till one day the ego surrenders, and that's when the door to the bliss opens. Now, when does this ego start? Sometime it has to start in a human body. When is that? So the ego starts, we'll talk about it. It starts, from early childhood or whatever it is. But the ego starts accelerating more when you're first, if you see a child, when the child is growing, when they reach an age of puberty, that is when this process of ego developing accelerates. That is the time when the lower two chakras are slowly closing, and that starts affecting the third chakra. Why at that time in puberty? Because that is when children start thinking about themselves. Till then, they are being taken care by parents. They are so bindas, they are free. They don't care about themselves. But that puberty is the time when pressures are building up on them, because what will I become? What will be my life? How do I support myself? So what is happening? Fears are coming in, and with fear comes other emotions. So I told you yesterday, the first chakra, Mooladhara chakra, is to do with fear and lack. If you are struggling with fear and lack, the first chakra will close. It will not be open. It will not function properly for you. Fear and lack are the two things that will not help the lower chakra. That is why very important, if you want to start building up your mind in proper direction right from the first chakra, fear and lack, get over it, go beyond it, my dear masters. This is the basic thing. We are only talking about first chakra. Don't start thinking about your third eye visions. Even Ravana had third eye vision. What did he do? Nothing. That was of no use. Start building up properly right from stage one. Don't start flying into how do I astral travel? How do I open my third eye? What are you going to do with all that? Ravana had all those siddhis, all for the wrong reasons. If Ravana did understand right how his first three chakras were working, so I'm sure he would have, but then his karmic patterns and other things, I'm not going to go into that detail now. But for us, the first chakra is to do with fear and lack. The second chakra, because of the fear and lack that we feel in the first chakra, the emotions that build up start affecting the second chakra. And because of the emotions that we feel, we have a story about ourselves which build around our third chakra as ego. So this is how it affects for a child during puberty, because that is where the story starts. So what happens is, it's a great example that somebody has given. In the industrial, where there is industry, there's a factory, you have goods, produce goods, and then you have pollution. So with every good that is produced, there is so much waste material that comes out in the industry. So they both coexist, isn't it? Like that, in the factory of third chakra, the actual purpose is to access bliss. That should be your good. Like in an industry, you're generating goods. In the third chakra industry, the actual goods that you should be able to access is your bliss. But what is coming out as pollution is your ego. And you are caught up in the ego, you are enjoying your pollution than your goods. So think from that perspective. Why? What is the purpose of your third chakra? To access bliss. Instead, you are accessing your ego, which is your pollution there. Yeah. So just to give you understanding about how it happens. So how do we recognize, when this third chakra starts closing? Like I said, when you have fear and lack, your first chakra closes. So how do you notice when this third chakra is closing, or what are the indications that you get? All this emotional pain that I was talking, which starts at the second chakra, you won't feel at the second chakra region. Everything culminates or goes to its peak and start affecting in the third chakra. So all the emotional pain, you can feel it in the organs around this third chakra. Like, when you're going for an interview, you feel tense, your stomach goes into knots, stomach pains. If you are anxious, everything, your stomach, indigestion, everything happens around in these areas. So all negative parts of your mind start affecting the organs around this third chakra. Though emotions start from second chakra around the pelvis, second chakra, which is your sacral chakra, is around the pelvis, but the effect will be in your solar plexus. So everything culminates to your third chakra, and that is where you're feeling all your emotional pain. Whenever your strength, you don't hold your pelvis, you hold your stomach. The emotions are starting from second chakra at the pelvis, but you're being affected at the third chakra. You hold your stomach like this. Yeah, that's the emotional pain that comes out of it. So that is how you know that these are the symptoms that something wrong is happening in your third chakra. You're not handling it right. So all your judgment about, discretion, right, wrong, holy, unholy, and all your world view I said worldview, like how you look at your world. I don't like him, I like him. All this is happening at your third chakra because that's part of ego. So how do you recognize? You recognize by these symptoms how you're behaving. So ego is all enmeshed in this judgment, you know, that I don't like this. How much we have talked about I don't like this, I like that in our awareness workshop. So it's all happening around this third chakra. And see, when people have too much stress, what happens? They get ulcers. Yeah. And all that ulcers is happening around your third chakra only. And as this chakra gets very clouded, you know, the more this is getting clouded, one may also have thoughts of feeling like a complete failure. If anyone is feeling that I'm of no use, be aware that it's happening around your third chakra. That means the water around your third chakra is getting clouded. You're losing connection with your higher self. If you have connection with higher self, you will never feel a complete failure. You feel like a divine being. If you're 100% connected, you will feel that divinity, the Daivatvam you call in you every time. Because you can't always feel 100%, at least most of the time you will feel, no, that's okay. These things come and go. That's all right. And then people who have more awareness, they think, I'm not this body material. I'm energy material. Why do I care? I only came here for human experiences. These thoughts will keep you aware all the time that you have come here on this human plane for human experiences. That will remind you. But as you go deeper and deeper into these clouded thoughts, you start feeling complete failure. And that's when depression, anxiety leading to suicide attempts happen. Everything is happening around this third chakra only, my dear masters. And when this happens, that negative energy sometimes becomes so much that this area around third chakra alone cannot handle that. The negative energy pours out of it. Because if everything has to be contained in third chakra, all these organs will collapse. The kind of thoughts, the kind of worldview that we are entertaining, the amount of negative energy that is generating from this third chakra area, if sometimes we let it go, all the organs will collapse because the organs around third chakra won't be able to cope. So the coping mechanism is sometimes those emotions, when it goes too much, they slowly start leaking into other chakras. Very, very nicely depicted, other chakras. So how, you know, when you hate people, you feel it here at the heart. It is starting around the third chakra, but it goes to your heart chakra if you hate people. And when you are angry, where do you feel it? In your head. When you are angry, your head is hurting. It's becoming hot. But it's not starting here. It is all this is leaking from your third chakra. All these emotions of hatred and anger. So it's slowly leaking into other areas. They are not starting. If sometimes you feel hatred for someone, you think, oh my God, this is to do with my Anahata chakra. Or you're getting angry, you're thinking something is happening around my Agya chakra. No, these are all happening with the overloaded emotions from third chakra. So the third chakra area tries to manage quite a lot. But sometimes when it can't handle and the organs are shutting down, it can't take any more. This is where it leaks. So many times people see before they get a heart attack, they can already feel that organs around their third chakras, they will be able to feel. But for feeling, you have to be aware. If you're not even aware of what's going on in your body, you will feel nothing till you will have heart attack and you'll be ending up in the hospital. This is basically the way we are living our life, unaware, totally unaware, even unaware of what's happening within us. So how to open this third chakra? So first we have to understand that this journey to this chakra, opening the chakra, this whole third chakra business starts even before birth. Before birth means where? Right from the time when you are in mother's womb. So this connection is during pregnancy, you know, when the mother is pregnant and the child is inside, it is the responsibility of the mother to think of higher thoughts at this time. When many of our elders, ancestors, they say, don't watch TV, you know, when you're pregnant because it's full of negative things. You're watching a soapy or, you know, or show that mother-in-law scheming against the daughter-in-law trying to kill her husband. The current shows, most of, I'm sorry, not saying 100%, but there are shows like this. Mother is watching, but what? All the thoughts are being transmitted to the unborn baby in the womb. It's very important that this whole story of third chakra starts before birth. So the mother has to have good thoughts at this time. Start talking to them, starting to her, unborn child, whatever she want to say, and mostly it has to do with love. When the child starts feeling love within the womb, when it comes out, it won't feel lonely. And ego entertains the thought that you are lonely, you're suffering, and your suffering is because of others. Everything has to be blamed outside. Victim mentality. This is what ego does. Oh, you poor thing. But it's not your fault. It's because of others. So if the mother starts giving love, I always say the highest frequency in this creation is love. Nothing can beat it. If mother can really hold her tummy like this when she's pregnant and say, I love you. I have loved you always. And when you come out, we'll do this, we'll do that. Start having conversation with your unborn children. Because that is when you are trying to help them open their third chakra and start aligning with the other two chakras. Mothers can do a great role. And what can fathers do? Fathers can provide that environment for the pregnant mothers to be more in the meditative state. To communicate with your unborn baby, it's just not enough you keep blabbering something. Yeah, I love you, but you are thinking something. The child does not hear your words. It may hear your words, but it is the emotion that gets direct connection. Why? Because the energy of the emotions are stronger than energy of the words. Because they are subtler. And I always say the more subtler it is, the more energy it is. So if the mother sits in a contemplative mode or a meditative state, I'm not saying anapanasati all the time, even just, contemplation means think and try to connect with your baby in the womb and pass all the love. Give the child an environment that the child will be loved, is being loved, will be loved, will never be alone. This world is beautiful. Don't give negative picture that I have nobody, I'm suffering, my mother-in-law is hitting me. The child doesn't need to know that. When it comes out, it will face the world. You don't give it more negativity. This is the least mother and father can do. Father can help the mother to give that space, and mother can directly contact. This is the little things that we can do for our children, because that's where it starts. And so when the third chakra starts to open, that is, it creates the highest hope. If you are feeling hope in your mind, that means your third chakra is in open state. When you have no hope in this life, you're desperate, you think I feel like a failure, this world is useless. The moment you're starting getting these ideas, remember your third chakra problem. This is your third chakra. Start working on your ego and mind immediately. If you're feeling depression, anxiety, feeling like this whole world is against you, this is where the problem is, my dear friends. Okay, because it's felt at the third chakra. It's important to have joy and laughter, to keep this chakra open. The easiest way we can handle it is try to laugh as much as you can. Try to bring joy. That's why people go to these laughing clubs, even if there is no laughter, you start laughing by force, and then it's contagious. Somebody who comes and sits with you and is laughing all the time, slowly, you also feel like smiling, because it's contagious, it's infectious.